Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Atha Shreemad Bhagawad Geeta, Chapter 5, The Yoga of Actions and Knowledge. Arjun said, Hey Krishna, you extol Sankhya Yoga, the yoga of knowledge, and then the yoga of action. I am praying you, please tell me, which of the two is decidedly conducive to my good? Shri Bhagavan said, the yoga of knowledge and the yoga of actions both leads to the supreme bliss. Of the two, however, the yoga of action, being the easier of practice, is superior to yoga of knowledge. The karma yogi, hey Arjun, the karma yogi who neither hates nor desires should ever be considered as an ever renunciant, for, hey Arjun, he who is free from the pairs of opposites is easily liberated from bondage. It is the ignorant, not the wise, who say that Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga leads to divergent results. For one who is firmly established in either gets the fruit of both, which is the same, vis-a-vis God realization. The supreme state which is reached by the Sankhya Yogi is attained also by the Karma Yogi. Therefore, he alone who sees Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga as identical so far as the result goes, see truly. Without Karma Yoga, however, Sankhya Yoga, as per example, renunciation of doership in relation to all activities of the mind, senses, and body is difficult to accomplish, whereas the Karma Yogi who keeps his mind fixed on God reaches Brahma in no time. Here, Arjun, try to understand this. The Karma Yogi who has fully conquered his mind and mastered his senses, whose heart is pure and who has identified himself with the self of all beings, vis-a-vis God, remains untainted even though performing action. However, the Sankhya Yogi who knows the reality of things must believe that he does nothing even though seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating or drinking, walking, sleeping, breathing, speaking, answering the call of nature, grasping and opening or closing the eyes, holding that it is the senses alone that are moving among their objects. He who acts offering all actions to God and shaking off attachment remains untouched by sin as the lotus leaf by water. The Karma Yogi perform actions only with their senses, mind, intellect and body as well. Without the feeling of mind is respect of them and shaking off attachment, simply for the sake of self-purification. Offering the fruit of actions to God, the Karma Yogi attains everlasting peace in the form of God realization, whereas he who works with a selfish motive, being attached to the fruit of actions through desire, gets tied down. The self-controlled Sankhya Yogi, doing nothing himself and getting nothing done by others, rests happily in God, the embodiment of truth, knowledge and bliss, mentally relegating all actions to the mansion of 9 gates, the body with the 9 openings. God determines neither the doership nor doing of man, nor even their contact with the fruit of actions, but it is nature alone that does all this. The omnipresent God does not partake the virtue or sin of anyone. Knowledge is enveloped by ignorance. Hence, it is that beings are constantly falling a prey to delusion. In the case, however, of those whose said ignorance has been destroyed by true knowledge of God, that wisdom shining like the sun, reveals the Supreme. Those whose mind and intellect are wholly merged in Him, who remains constantly established in identity with Him and have finally become one with Him, their sins being wiped out by wisdom, reach the supreme goal whence there is no return. The wise look with equanimity on all, whether it be a Brahma, means Brahmana, endowed with learning and humility, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a pariah too. Even here is the mortal plane conquered by those whose mind is established in equanimity, since the Absolute is untouched by the evil and is the same to all. Hence, they are established in Paramatma. He who with firm intellect and free from doubt rejoices not on obtaining what is pleasant and does not feel perturbed on meeting with the unpleasant, that knower of Brahma lives eternally in identity with Brahma. He whose mind remains unattached to sense objects derives through meditation the sattvic joy which dwells in the mind. Then that yogi, having completely identified himself through meditation with Brahma, enjoys eternal bliss. The pleasures which are born of sense contact are verily a source of suffering only, though appearing as enjoyable to worldly minded people. They have a beginning and an end. They come and go. Hey Arjun, hey Kaunte, it is for this reason that a wise man does not indulge in them. He alone who is able to withstand in this very life before casting off this body the urge of lust and anger is a yogi, and he alone is a happy man. He who is happy within himself enjoys within himself the delight of the soul, and even so is illuminated by the inner light, the light of the soul. Such a yogi, the Sankhya yogi, identified with Brahma, attains Brahma, who is all peace. The seer whose sins have been purged, whose doubts have been dispelled by the knowledge, whose disciplined mind is firmly established in God, who are devoted to the welfare of all beings, attains Brahma, who is all peace. To those wise men who are free from lust and anger, who have subdued their mind and have realized God, Brahma, the abode of eternal peace, is present all round. Shutting out all thoughts of external enjoyments with the gaze fixed on the space between the eyebrows, having regulated the prana means outgoing and the apana means incoming breaths flowing within the nostrils, he who has brought his senses, mind and intellect under control, such a contemplative soul intent on liberation and free from desire, fear and anger is ever liberated. Having known me in reality as the enjoyer of all sacrifice and austerities, the supreme lord of all worlds and the selfless friend of all beings, my devotee attains peace. Thus, in the Upanishad sung by the Lord, the science of Brahma, the scripture of Yoga, the dialogues between Bhagavan Sri Krishna and Arjun ends with 5th chapter entitled The Yoga of Action and Knowledge. Jai Ho!